Yo, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, it's been a minute. This is episode 43. I'm back. We back. Let's put it that way. We back. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's been a little bit of a minute. I've been, working, getting things together, man. COVID has just come in and just like sunk all ships at this point. Kind of blew up everything, man. It's kind of hard to talk about anything without bringing that up. So I apologize. I know you're probably sick of hearing about it all the time, but it is so prevalent in our lives because many of us are still in the quarantine. At the time of you probably hearing this, we're under quarantine still, man. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who has been supporting. The numbers are still strong, and I haven't put out nothing in a while, so that shows a lot of love. And I appreciate everyone who's definitely checked it out, man. No, I'm not, it's not super crazy, but it's still there. So I just want to say peace and love and thank you to everybody who's been out there showing me support, man. Thank you very much. But again, this is episode 43. Still amazing that I'm here. I'm about to get to 50. I'm about to get to 60, probably to 100. I'm trying to get to that 1,000 mark, man. I'm trying to catch up to Joe Rogan. I got a long way to go. But anyway, I'm charged up. I'm happy, man. I'm feeling somewhat good, man. I got to have this good energy right now because there's so much bullshit out there these days. But anyway, I digress before I start ranting. I got a very dope guest, man. It's my man Jamal. He's amazing. He is one of the best entrepreneurs I know. It's not because he's like a millionaire or nothing of that nature. He's just consistent with who he is. He sticks to his principles, and he's developing out there. So he's doing what he's got to do. And I'm happy that he's finally on my show, man. He's a friend of many that I've had on the show, so it's good to have him on here. And it's good to have him on here talking his shit, man. He's really talking about what he's done, man. So I hope that you guys enjoy it, man. Be safe out there. I just wanted to say that before I get out of here and let y'all get to the show. Everyone just be safe. There's so much to talk about, but we're going to say it for another podcast, man. I just want to say I appreciate everyone who's tuned in again, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. My man Jamal is about to lay it down, man. It's going to have to be sick. All right, y'all. I'll speak to y'all later. Peace. All right. So we're recording. It's recording. Okay, we're good. Yo, so we're going to jump right into it, man. I got my man Jamal Momon. Did I say it right?
Close. You got it close. Momon. Same thing.
I've always tried to get his name. Huh?
Bro, as long as you get the first name right, that's all that matters, man.
I got you. I've been admiring this dude for a hot minute, man. I appreciate his work. He has, how can I say this? He's one of the few people that have become an entrepreneur, and they've been an entrepreneur for a while. It's not like one of those things where I'm going to become an entrepreneur tomorrow because my job is gone. Nah, he's really been on his business tip for a long time, man. Back in the day, he dropped some really hot clothing called Dirty Rascal. It was amazing. I wore it. People I was working with wore it. It was fire. And he even did a pop-up shop in his hometown, which is a big accomplishment in his own right.
Appreciate that, brother.
Not a problem, bro. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you being here, brother. So tell me what's been going on with you in quarantine. What's been popping for you, man? What's been going on? Because I know your girl cut your hair, your wife, and that was an extreme moment for you in life. I know that I know you almost probably wanted to cry, but you held it in. You're a good man.
I was scared, brother. I was saying no. I was saying no for a minute, but I've always been prepared for a situation like this. I've always had like the Andes and the wall clippers, like the good high quality joints. So I knew that she couldn't do too much damage.
Right.
And I was like, worst case scenario, she messed my joint up and in 2 weeks it's back again. I'm not going nowhere anyway. You know what I mean? So I'm like, and she's pretty good. She's pretty creative. Usually creative people can like figure things out like that. So I'm like, you know what? Go ahead. And then she actually taped me up on the sides and everything. The taper came out good. So I was good, man. I mean, I need another cut now, but I don't know if I'm going to let her do it again. I'm thinking about it.
You're not going to push your luck? Don't push your luck. Like, one time was good enough. I don't know about the next time. But listen, brother.
Right.
What's underneath here is a scary situation, so I understand.
Yo, that's what hats are for. Brother. I contemplated wearing one before I signed on to this joint. But I was like, nah, you know what? I think I'm okay for now. But yeah, man. But like I wanted to say to you, like, about the whole podcast joint. Like you're like the main one coming from like around our way. I remember when you started, the first time I first started hearing you was when you was doing a joint with Venedra, and then you guys were rocking for a minute. That was like the first time I even thought of anyone that I knew like doing any type of podcast or anything. That was when they started becoming hot, and now you're doing your own thing. So you're definitely doing it big right now and holding it down in the podcast community, at least for Bergen County.
Man. I got to, bro. Like, I feel like this business is like, you either create, we're at the stage now where it's create or die time.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not creating your own path, you see what happens. They can get rid of you fast. And in this situation, like, you got to create. So I'm doing the only thing I know how to do, and that's this and other stuff. Like, you got to get out there and do it. And I always feel like a lot of us don't, a lot of us creatives, we don't tell people enough. Like, if you don't create, people can take advantage of you fast.
Right.
You got to be able to do your own thing, or people are going to like use you up. Cause I mean, like, you, like, one thing I admire about you, bro, is like you work a full-time gig and you still produce amazing stuff. Like, I don't know how you balance that. And you're a father and you're a husband. Like, that's no joke, bro. That's a lot of, how can I say, a lot of things pulling you in a lot of different directions all the time. Could you tell me, like, give me some like insight on how's that even happening for you right now, man?
I mean, like you said a few things, like, yeah, I'm still doing the 9-to-5 thing. I'm a dad and I'm a husband. But if I didn't have that last thing, like if I didn't have a wife with me to like help with the kids and all that, none of it would be happening, or it would be happening very poorly. You know what I mean? Word. So she understands the vision and she's on board with the vision. So, shout out to my wife. If it wasn't for her holding it down with the kids and blah, blah, blah,
major blessings.
It would be impossible. Yeah, man.
Right.
So, yeah.
So really been, the wife is really the key to this, because she's taking care of you and she's holding you down through this thing. Like,
she's a rock, man. Like, you need somebody like that to believe in the vision. Like, yeah, I mean, if you got a bunch of kids, you can make it happen. If you don't have a bunch of kids, you can make it happen on your own. But once you start getting to a situation like that, you got to have like a rider with you, somebody that's going to help you take care of the most important things while you go and grind and do your thing.
Right. You're also an author now. I didn't even add in the author part, because we haven't even touched on the book yet. That's like major for me, because I'm just like, damn, this dude really did it. Like, he really, really touched all the bases. Like, most people don't start an online clothing company. Then they start from the online clothing company. They have a photography. We had the photography business before the online clothing. And then you go from that. You also work with furniture. And then on top of that, you put out a book. That's a lot to hang your hat on right there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, big respect to you for that shit. Because not many people can say they've done that.
And I appreciate it, man. And it's crazy because the book, it wasn't really something that I planned on doing for like a long time. It just kind of, I don't want to say it came out of nowhere, but I've always wanted to like share my successes and failures and like, where I came from and how I made it work, and like just like pros and cons, and just wanted to give back to the community or other people that are trying to do the same thing I'm doing. Not to say that like I made it to the mountaintop, but I've succeeded and failed in different things. So I feel like I have a lot of gems that I could provide. So I've always had that in the back of my mind. But crazy thing is, and you see it in the that my son Max, he's 8, and he had a book report on this concept called NaNoWriMo. And it's like a challenge, it's like a writing challenge where like writers and students get together and they try to write a 50,000 word novel all within the month of November. So that's the challenge. Like, I didn't do that for my book, but I used it. I'm like, I'm not going to do 50,000 words. I can't do that. But
that just sounds ludicrous to me, but I get it. I get it. That sounds wild.
That would be like a 200-page book. But I'm like, I use that as inspiration to be like, you know what, maybe I should, use this as motivation to go ahead and actually write my thing. So I started jotting down the ideas and the, my experiences and stuff like that from that point. And then just went ahead and wrote it, man. That's about it.
Oh yeah. And it came out fire, because even the minimalist style that you went and you put the cover of the book on was dope. You know what I mean? And I appreciate the fact that you put that out there, Ben. And so let's start from like very like back to the beginning, bro. Like, you started out photography was like your start, right? You started with photography. That was how you got started in the creative world.
Yeah. Kinda, yeah. So I went to school. It's weird, man. My whole situation is like just all mixed up, man. But I went to school for computer science, right? I got my bachelor's in that, right?
Okay.
And then couple years later, I'm like, I like this, but there's no creative aspect to it. I felt like my creativity, like I just had some within me that I wanted to, I just wanted to test that out or see what I could potentially do with that. So I went back to a trade school for 18 months to learn graphic design. So
okay.
I did that for 18 months and I learned things like Photoshop and Illustrator, InDesign and all that. But I didn't learn photography at all in that program. And right before I graduated, instead of me doing like Photoshop stuff, I was like, let me go pick up a camera. It's the weirdest thing ever. But it was me and my boy Nee at the time. We took the class together, both to learn Photoshop and other things. But we both picked up a camera right before we graduated. And we both, like, to this day, still do photography and all that. So I still, obviously I do Photoshop and all those other graphic design things too. But I picked up the camera right after that. And then my stepfather, he was also a photographer for a while. So that I guess I had that influence kind of ingrained. So I never acted on it before, but I feel like graphic design school just kind of like lit that fuse, like for me to go ahead and pick that up and start doing it, put the pieces together. So I started off with that. Then I started doing like fashion photography and just street photography, things like that. And then that's how, that kind of went into Dirty Rascal, because when I was doing the photography, I would shoot a lot of models. I would shoot a lot of things like that. But then at the same time, I always
what was your favorite thing to shoot around that time?
I was broke. Around that time?
Who hasn't broke my life?
Just anything. Huh? What was that?
Anything that... So as around that time, we were all kind of struggling, man. What was the biggest influence for you though? For your biggest influence?
Crazy thing is, like, so I was working a 9 to 5 at that point, and I was in the city. So just New York City in general, you walk anywhere in New York City. I was taking pictures of bikes, taxis, just random people, just whatever. It didn't matter. It's just, but it helped me realize like what my style was, like that grunge, like that rustic, that old, that vintage style. Like that's how I came upon that and realized, that's my style. That's what I like to shoot. So
do you shoot with prime lenses? Did you shoot with prime? Now, did you start out shooting with prime lenses, or you went straight to like zooms and stuff like that?
So it's kind of mixed, because I started out with the nifty 50. You got to start out with the nifty 50 because it's so cheap.
Yes.
And it's so great at what it does. So I started out with a prime 50 millimeter, but it wasn't because I wanted to start off with primes. It was because that was the cheapest good lens.
Yes.
And then, from that point, I started saving my bread and stuff like that. And then I started with zoom lenses. I started with I got the, what did I have? I eventually ended up getting the 2470 and the 7200.
Big boy lenses now, man.
Those are the main jokes. Yeah.
Those are like, if you shoot, those are what you need to shoot with. Yeah, man. Those are I'm a Nikon shooter. I know. Huh?
Yeah. I know.
Go ahead.
I know you Nikon, you and my man Jeff. You and Jeff.
Yeah, man. We like to rock with the best. I know it's weird for you. I understand that as a camera shooter. I know it's odd for you to deal with that. I know. You know what I mean? I understand your pain.
It's hard. It's hard, bro. I'm okay with Canon though. I'm gonna sit over here. You guys have fun with the Nikons. I'm good, bro. But no, I think they're both great camera systems, man. Like I don't see any issues with either of them. I'm continuing to rock with Canon because they're really killing the
they're probably bringing up the EOS 5.
So, yeah, I'm the R5 is coming out in a couple of months, I think. So I got my eyes on that one for sure. I got the R now, so hopefully we can make that work.
Yes. So you got started in the business. You were shooting with a 50 mil. You said you were dealing with you were shooting models and you were doing street photography. Normally that's how it starts out. That's where you get I guess you make your bones, as they say, in the business. But you started getting into the clothing, and I remember being around that when you first started, and you started dropping that heat, and I was just like, yeah, what's this? Like, because your clothing was different, man. Like you had your hoodies had buttons in the front. You know what I mean? And had like in the inside, you had like detail on the inside of the hoodies and stuff like that. And it had like a real street urban kind of feel to it. Where did you really get that inspiration for that?
Yeah, I mean, first, like, I definitely appreciate you because I remember you reaching out when you guys and Dub Work was running. You guys were doing a lot of work over there. He was doing this thing with the music, and you reached out and made that connection. So definitely appreciate you for that because all of that,
Thank you.
all of that was just a bunch of like street marketing, like guerrilla marketing tactics that we were using back then to kind of like get the brand out there. So y'all were a part of that, part of the early stages of Dirty Rascal. So definitely appreciate you for that, man.
Thank you.
But
appreciate that too.
In terms of the inspiration for the brand, like I've always been into fashion and everything like that. But like I said, I was super broke when I was a kid. Like my mom, she was it was basically just us and my mom, me and my oldest sister, my mom, until I was like 9 or 10. And then like my stepfather came in and he helped out a little bit, but my gear was trash. You know, like my mom, we had to rely on my mom's money and her budget. She had to work like multiple jobs at a certain time, but we basically had no cash. So, you know, fast forward a good amount of years. And I'm like, if I create a brand, like I wanted to create a brand initially because a lot of the street brands were just hype. They were just hype driven. Like the quality wasn't there. Like you could get a shirt that just says dope or just says, you know, whatever the trend was. But I'm like, I want to create a street brand that actually gives quality, but also has like multiple uses or just provides things that haven't been done before. So like the hoodie that you were talking about, I called that the chameleon hoodie because inside the hood, it had interchangeable lining. So you could like zip the lining in and out. And I provided the customer with 3 different linings. So you can kind of switch it up. You know, like if you're not, if you don't have money like that, you can't be buying like 100 hoodies. You could have that one hoodie and switch it up 3 ways. So that was kind of like the concept and what I wanted to give back to the person that was, you know, trying something out or giving me a chance by you know, purchasing something from Dirty Rascal.
I think that was dope. I mean, your the way you presented it and the quality. I never got so many compliments on a hoodie than the Dirty Rascal hoodie that I bought. I got a lot of people asking me where I could cop that shit and everything else. I know there was a point where you had it on a reality show. I remember that. We had hats. Yeah. And I remember that. And I was like, oh, this just keeps going. It just keeps better. But in that time space, you're moving with that. Plus, you're still making your money. Plus, you're still doing photography work at that time. I remember all of that. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing that's when you start developing like you're cutting your teeth as an entrepreneur for real at this point. What were kind of some of the ups and downs? I'm sure it's in the book as well, but what kind of ups and downs were you kind of like faced with at that time? Both business wise, but personally. Because that's a real hustle. Like it's not like something you can like sit back and not work on all the time.
Yeah, I mean, the clothing lines, they were a real roller coaster ride, man. I'd say initially we started picking up steam real quick because we were able to start, even though I was shooting models on my own, I was also reaching out to other photographers, like big photographers in Miami, like LA and things like that. And since the brand was new and IG was very new, it was easy to reach out to people and say, oh, yeah, very new. So it was the opportunities. It was easy. So I was able to reach out to these people and say, oh, if I throw you some gear, can you shoot this model or can you shoot that model? And then they would shoot just for the gear, just to get the gear for free. You know, models they're not doing that now on IG. You got to pay them plus give them the gear. So, you know, that's over unless you got cash. So, you know, that was one of the main ways that Dirty Rascal started picking up steam and started getting out there. I started getting the followers like that. And then my man actually had a connect with this girl. Her name was Rachel. She had super connects in the music industry. So she actually ended up getting me connected with Justin Bieber. And this was at the height of his career. This is like when he was the biggest celebrity on earth.
I remember this. Yeah, man. I remember this.
Yeah, so
that was a huge look for you, yo. That was a big look right there, yo.
That was the biggest look on earth for me.
Especially because he's Bieber. You know, he was Bieber at that point. Like now he's like weird Bieber, but he was Bieber back then. Did you
big time Bieber.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like you were in a space where like the business was like consuming your life at that time?
Yeah, many times. I mean, because I always ship all the orders out on my own too. So it was like every aspect of Dirty Rascal I did. So like I designed the clothing. I dealt with like I found the overseas manufacturers. Like so I'm working with them. So when you're working with China, it's 12 hours ahead. So you're up at like midnight talking to them when it's noon. So
Facts.
that was hard. So I had to do that. I had to do the marketing, the advertising. I had to do like the inventory, the website management. I had to do the shipping. I had to all the stuff I had to do, and I could not keep up with it. So, and if you're ever doing anything by yourself like that, quality starts to suffer because you can't keep up, and then you have a full-time job and kids and a wife. Like, come on, you can't do all that.
Nah, that's why you need partners and stuff like that. You need homies that like work with you on that, man. And that's not easy to do because people want what they want, and they have their lives. You know what I mean? Like it's not like they can sit there and do everything for you as well.
Right. Yeah.
Did you ever want to sell your brand and sell your designs to a company and try to see if you could get that off the ground? Did you ever want to sell it?
Sell the designs or sell the brand?
Sell the brand itself, kind of like to investors, and like pull back and just work on the quality side of things. So
I actually have two investors in Dirty Rascal, but like one is an investor on the technical side, and another one was basically a angel investor, but then came in and supposed to be helping with like the like international marketing of the brand. So that kind of came in when we needed it, like a couple years in, and we had like a little influx of cash that allowed me to like continue getting more product and things like that. So we were doing good for a minute, man. That was around the Bieber time and everything. But the thing that kind of started taking Dirty Rascal like into a nosedive, I'd say, is when you remember like all these trade shows, right? Like Agenda and Project and like all those big like.
I remember those clear as day, baby. I remember being at all them shit. Yep.
Right.
But now all them shit.
But now no one goes to them joints anymore, though, right? So like you don't really get that much attendance anymore because people are like, I can just buy this online, or I can see your line sheet online. Like there's websites like Brand Boom, Project and other things like that, where these brands are just listing their line sheets online because it costs so much to attend those trade shows. So we actually attended Agenda one year. I can't remember what year it was, but we got approached by a bunch of buyers, probably like between like 35, 40 buyers. But basically like what they ended up saying at the end of the day was their job is on the line to pull brands that they know is going to sell. Like if they pull brands that they're just taking a guess on, they're potentially like just putting their necks on the line. And if it doesn't sell, then, they might lose their job. So basically they said, yeah, we love what you're doing. This stuff is so dope. It's so dope. But we didn't really get any orders. We only got a couple of orders placed. And we put so much into that. Like we were hoping that going to Agenda onto the big stage was going to take us to that next level. So that just basically hit us with a lot of debt that we had to start paying off. And that's what kind of turned Dirty Rascal around the wrong way.
I get it. Sometimes that happens, I guess, in business, that you get to that point where you're ready to ascend, essentially.
Yeah.
But then you're there, but it just you don't reach that point. It doesn't connect. And then you're kind of stuck with things. But I did see that the brand you've been more focused on quality. Have you ever thought about like going the route of Supreme and like going more exclusive, only limited edition type of stuff come out kind of thing?
Yeah, so that's actually the learning lesson, and that's why I wrote the book too. It's like so people can learn from situations like this. A lot of people from around our way, they start clothing lines and other things like that. But a lot of them, like, they might not know the right ways to do it or the wrong ways, like the ways not to do it. So I kind of
copycat
put that stuff in my book to try to help. Right, right. So they might see something like a Supreme or a Nike and be like, oh, I could do that. And they might not know anything about like the necessities. You know what I mean? Like before you even think about doing that, you got to create your own company. You got to think about where you're going to get this made, how much that's going to cost, your minimum quantity. Like all these things cost money, like the fabric, like the wash, it's ridiculous the amount of things you got to take into consideration if you're going to do it right. You could just have a t-shirt brand where you just put stuff on the tee, but that's not a brand. You know, it's just a product that you're selling, which is fine too. But those are two different things.
Yeah, that's how I look at it too. I say to myself, like, okay, yes, I was gonna get into that. I was gonna let you flow into that right there. Grand Ave is fire. Shit looks fire from what I can see, man. It's a smart move though.
Thanks, man.
And you're shooting that yourself. That's you taking all the shots and everything.
Well, it's me and Jeff. You know, Jeff is my right hand man.
Yeah,
you know that.
Shout out to Jeff.
Yeah,
y'all guys definitely heard him on the podcast. Okay, I don't want to hear nobody asking any questions about who Jeff is. Just go back and look. Okay, it's right there. You know what I mean? This is episode 43, by the way, people. All right, so that means enough episodes to check out.
If you don't know, his Instagram is F4 Media Jeff, so you could go on there, check him out. But Jeff, that's definitely my right hand man. You know, like not even just Dirty Rascal, Grand Ave, and the photography stuff. Like he's just been there with me. Like a little bit bit ago, we were just talking about you need somebody with you. You need people to come in and help you with your thing or whatever it is that you're doing. That's my guy right there. So Jeff,
preach.
Jeff helped with everything, man, down to hack and restore. Like because he's good at like woodwork and construction and all that stuff. So it just happened to click. Like we both know graphic design. We both know how to build websites, photography, just woodwork. Like it just all clicks, man. You know, I could go to that guy for anything, and then vice versa. Right. So it just works.
Jeff is one of the realest people I've ever been around. I've gone to him just to help me with my photography, just because sometimes as a photographer, I'm sure you get lost in your own head and you're like, oh, this is great. And then, the other photographer's like, no, this is trash. Like you're way off on your, like, the person's not in focus, right? Like the focus is off.
Right. You definitely need that person that you can trust to give you honest feedback.
Right, man. Because as a creative, we respect honesty. We don't respect you sugarcoating it. I need you to tell me this shit sucks. Yeah, because if you don't tell me it sucks, I can't improve. So then you're kind of like putting me at a disadvantage. You're handicapping me. You've been around in this business of creativity over time for a long time. At this point, me and you both have been here for a while. You know what I mean? And one thing that I always thought about you is that you're one of the more observant people I've met. You know, what have you learned about the people that you've seen around you who started out with you, who have been there, and what kind of lessons have you learned from the people that have been around you in this business, that you've seen, your contemporaries, people that you've been around?
People that I've been around that have also been doing similar things, or just people that have been around me while I've been doing it? Doing
a little bit of both. Similar? A little bit of both, because I think you gather information from both, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. I'd say the main thing I've learned from like-minded people or people that are, doing within the similar craft is that everyone has their own style and everyone has their own work ethic. So like one thing that, like, let's say, I don't want to keep talking about my man Jeff, but I it's just easy for me to explain things because we have a lot of experience, like in the ways that we work together. So like I have a more, like you said, I have a more laid back style in terms of like photography and how I do my thing. And he will study something more than I will. And he will learn something new. And he'll be like, yo, I was on YouTube and I found out how to do this thing. He was like, yo, check this out. And so like a lot of the things that I learned is like from something that he went and figured out on his own. I'm like, oh, yo, that's kind of dope. I might actually try that. But other than that, like, I'm just kind of like willy-nilly with it. Like I'm on Pinterest a lot. So I draw a lot of my inspiration from Pinterest. So I'll see like images. Okay. Yeah, a lot of times,
that's a new one for me. That's a new one for me.
Nah, Pinterest is official. There's so much inspiration for everything, anything that you want to, like, even like the hack and restore furniture stuff I do. I pull inspiration from like other people, other designers that are on there. So I remember the podcast that you and Jeff did, and you guys were talking about like specific photographers and like their styles and the ones you like and the one, like things like that. I couldn't sit here and do that with you because I don't remember their names. I don't know their names. I don't know. It might be bad. I don't know if it's bad or good, but I don't know these photographers' names. I just know styles. Like I know styles and what I like. Like I know I can look at these images and say, I love that style right there, but it's not in me to like look into a specific photographer and look at all their work. That's just, it's just something, it's just not the way I pull my inspiration.
You work from visual inspiration. You know what I mean? Some of us
Yeah.
work from like
Yeah.
we need context, right? Some people
Yeah.
just can
Yeah.
work from what they see, and they be like, "Oh, that's a dope
Hmm.
snow shot that he did in the street."
Yeah.
I don't even know who did it, but I'm about to go. I'm about to go try to not emulate it, but try to like do my own thing because now I'm inspired by it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why I like Pinterest, because it's basically the concept of the art board. Like when you have an art board and you're putting all these different concepts and ideas on an art board, it's not about who created it. It's about what it looks like and how it flows and how it all connects to get you to whatever goal it is that you're trying to get to. It's like I'm putting all these pieces together because it makes sense for like what I'm trying to do in the long run.
Got you. I get that from you because I always know you're quiet, dude, but you're like, I'm paying
Yeah.
attention, but I get inspiration from what I see. And then you go out and you do it. One thing about you, bro, is you always execute. Like a lot of people, they don't know how to execute their businesses and what they do. Because even when I was representing Penn, shout out to DJ Pinnacle, you know what I mean? We came to your crib and we did a whole shoot. And I was like, wait,
Yeah.
what? I was like, this is his house. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
you gotta make it work however you can. I remember that shoot too. That was over in Jersey City, man.
Yeah, when you were at JC, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
remember that. We drove all the way down and I'm looking at Penn like, are we really doing this right now? Like, why are we not? Okay, let me do this. Like, I didn't know. I think it was like one of the first times we met. So I was like, I don't know about going to this brother's house, man. He might not feel comfortable with this. Like whatever. But the business of it is like, I'm saying that you find a way to execute because most people, I don't remember a lot of people doing shoots in their homes at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't a thing. You know, most people, you know, you go to places and you would shoot, you know, and doing it at home meant that you were like really like into this business and you were really trying to make something work. And you were shooting your clothes, your stuff was being shot that day. And for you to like kind of corner off that market, you don't need to hire another photographer to do it. You could just do it yourself. And how important is it to be able to do to even though we've already spoke about that you definitely going to need people and to help you with your stuff, how important is it for an entrepreneur who's starting out to kind of take the bulls by the horns, so to speak, and learn how to do something themselves to help with their costs versus, you know, balance, I guess, helping out with their balance sheet because you don't have to pay somebody to do the stuff.
Right. I mean, I think it's super important to learn as many aspects of your business as you can. And then like if I could do this whole thing over again, I would start out more slowly. So like if you learn everything yourself and you start out on your own, that's good. And that's fine. But once you start to grow is when you start to pull people in, and you don't scale until you get that assistance and that help, so that when you start to scale, you already have the assistance in place to kind of help you get there. But if you're going to start out initially, the more you know, the better. Because like you said, like I was able to do my own photography. That saved me a lot of money, and I could release whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. And I was designing all my stuff myself. So I knew when everything was coming in. I was controlling everything, which is cool at first. But once you're scaling, that's not cool.
No.
Yeah, that's cool. That's the main thing. The main thing I learned right there.
Yeah. In this business, when you learn that, and that's one of the most valuable lessons I'll tell anybody is like you can scale, but at great cost to your own personal life and who you are, because that's gonna pull you. It's gonna pull you apart. And in time, you know, like you and Jeff have developed another business that we're going to talk about here. And that's your wedding photography business.
Yeah.
And that is not a joke, B. Like I spoke to Jeff about it. You know what I mean? We talked and everything on the podcast and everything. But from your point of view, how has that business been for you? And what do you think it's going to be like now?
It's been great. It's probably been the side hustle of all side hustles, honestly, because it's like, it's something where, you know, the net profit is amazing. You know, once you have your cameras and they're all paid for, you know, it's all money from there. And it's like, it's hard. Like shooting a wedding is difficult and there's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of risk. You can mess stuff up. You can do all that. But, you know, once you get your skin in the game, you get the experience, like it's great. It's one day. But then after that, you know, you sit down in front of the computer for several hours editing. But, you know, the major work is in you capturing the moment that day. So, I like my photography basically lies, I'd say like 80% or maybe even more than that, maybe like 85% weddings and 15% everything else, like today at this point. And obviously, with the whole COVID-19 situation that's going on now, it's definitely affected it. We still have all the weddings that we had planned for 2020 to 2021, but things are being pushed back. So, it's definitely having an impact. We should have shot about 2-3 weddings more than we have already this year. But, things are still moving. Just got pushed back a little bit, but we're still grinding, man. But when it comes to wedding photography, 2 is always better than 1. So that's the main reason we started that company together.
Bunch of Sith Lords right there, straight Star Wars right there, the rule of 2.
Yeah.
Now, it's always a dynamic of learning that that's a whole business. Because now even my boy Penn, DJ, we spoke about him, he has a whole business that's built around doing weddings. Absolutely. As a DJ. Yeah. That's like a whole business in itself. Did you have to like learn how to do the book work and how to take in how to make sure that the money comes and flows and how to build down for taxes and everything? Or was it just more like, okay, I kind of got this already from doing other photography work. I got this. But did you have to like build a whole business around this is what I'm trying to ask.
Nah, I mean, since me and Jeff, that's another thing about me and Jeff. We both went to school for computer science. So we kind of both already, we already kind of understood, sheets and how to work money and inventory and just net profit versus gross. And like, we already understand that for the most part. So it wasn't really that hard. It was just like coming together to create a system. Like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to manage all this stuff? How are we going to create a contract? How, like, do we need to get insurance? Like, how much is that going to be? How are we going to deal with all that? We basically just came together and we figured everything out, man. We just figured out what we needed to do, what it was going to look like, how we were going to work with our customers, talk to them, how we're going to create the website. And that's basically it. Just communication is like, I say it all the time, communication is key. Like, if you don't have communication, if you don't have a transparent relationship with whoever you're working with, this is like in your actual relationship and business relationship. If you don't have that, you're toast.
The C word is king, baby. The C word is king. You better know communication. If not, well, you won't be around long. I'll tell you that much. You'll be out of here soon enough. In this business, you're gonna deal with you're a black man. I'm just gonna be frank with you. You're a black man. You know what I mean?
I am.
So that means you come from a certain understanding about color and race. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever had to run into that being an entrepreneur and like having those issues of going back and forth with people like, you're not helping me out because I'm black, or you're not feeling me because you think I'm like a hippity hopper, all that bullshit they try to pull on you. Have you ever had to like go against that and like kind of give pushback, like, nah, how do I get over this kind of situation?
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't been anything like where it's like both parties knew it was direct discrimination, but you always get, not always, but a lot of times you'll see heavier negotiations because you are black. Like, this guy's black. I know I could probably hustle him for a little more money, maybe a couple $100. And this is not even just, this is not just the way white people treat black people. This is most of the time, my own people will try to hustle me more than, a lot of times a white person will come to me and be like, okay, that's 500. Okay, cool. Here's the 500. But I'm not saying all black people, definitely not all black people. Love my people. But you'll see a lot of family and friends, they'll hit you and they want the heavy discount. Like you don't even have a business. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, it should just be free. Like, bro, like, I have to survive. You serious? You're my family. You should be paying top dollar. You should not be asking for a discount. You should be supporting me. You're like, yo, we family. Like, can I get that for free? Like, you serious? You know I got 3 kids, right? You know I got 3 kids.
I got 3.
Still asking for that discount.
Yo.
Yeah, man. That's how it is, though. It's crazy. But like, you know what? Like, you don't really realize that until like once you have your own thing or your own business or your own service or whatever that you're trying to push. Yeah. You will understand it 100% and you will stop doing it to other people because people will start to do it to you. Then you be like, damn, is that what I was doing to people? like a lot of times that's what you need to like help you understand.
I think we all get caught up in the old school, like, oh, my cousin works at Foot Locker, so you're going to give me this discount. That's not how the real world works. Like,
it's not even like
everybody.
Right. And that's not the same situation either. Like, your cousin is helping you get kicks from Foot Locker. That's like
Exactly.
Foot Locker's that's a big machine. That's fine. That's cool. But
Right,
me, I'm a small fry. Like I need that money. Like it's very, very different. Like don't even try to compare those. Like it's like
exactly
totally different, man. We should all be trying to get money from Foot Locker and Nike and all these other companies.
But not me. Don't try to get me, because I am your brethren, and I don't have it like that.
Right.
Take care of me.
Yeah, I don't have millions of dollars. Like you can't buy stock. You can't buy stock in Dirty Rascal.
No,
I'm not there yet.
No.
Yeah,
in your
bro.
business, and you've gone through and you've seen other business models and things that you've picked up on. What kind of things that you wish that you kind of had gone into that you saw kind of take off, and you like kind of missed? Did you miss anything? Like you kind of missed the boat on that? Like, damn, I should have done it this way. I should have done this right here. Like we all have our regrets.
I don't have any regrets because it taught me, like, I know way more than I would have known if I did things right the first time. I'm not saying that I'm very happy I messed up. I'm not going to say that, but you know what I mean? Like I know more, like I'm more wise and I can help more people because I went down the wrong path. Right. So I can be like, yo, when you start this, don't do these things. So like, I wish I would have started the clothing lines the way I did Grand Ave. Like Grand Ave was more like select pieces, more limited quantity. Like if I would have started that way, I would have been in a super net positive position right now. But Dirty Rascal, when I got like the influx of cash, I just started getting like a lot of tees, a lot of hats, like a lot of jackets. Like I just had too much inventory. And, you know, I wish I would have did it piece by piece or just a couple pieces at a time, and like more pieces that would return more of a net profit. So like if you think about a hat, you know, for example, you probably let's say you make like 50 hats and they cost you about like $7 each or $8 each. You're probably going to sell them, and then you have to pay for shipping if you're doing it overseas and all that. So let's say at the end of the day, you're paying like $13, right? You're probably going to sell that hat for like $20, $25. That's like $7, $8, $9 profit you're making. But let's say you do a varsity jacket and you're paying like between $1 to $1.50 to get it made, but you're selling it for like $3. That it takes more. Like you have to put more money in, but the net profit,
you get more money back.
Potential, you get way more money back, especially if you're doing them one at a time and you're just waiting for that money to come back in and come back into your pocket. That's the safest way to start. So that's what I say. I wish I would have done differently. Started slower.
Was there any overhead issues, or never really? Not really. Like overhead. You had storing it, putting the clothes in certain places and stuff like that. Did you have any issues with that or not?
Not really, because I mean, I started when. Did we start when I was in Jersey City? Yeah, we did start. So, I mean, we always had like a little basement area, something like that, where we could like store all the inventory. So we never had any issues when it came to the overhead stuff. I mean, I wish I didn't have to store it in my house, but we did have the space. So, you know, that's what we did.
I see all these YouTubers doing exactly what you were doing back in the day now. Mm-hmm. They're doing it right out of their houses. They're shipping. They're just shipping it themselves straight through UPS or US Post Office. They're going straight there with packed cars, trunks full of stuff, shipping their merch just like that.
Yeah, because it's so much easier now. Because if you have like an e-commerce website, like a back end, like a Shopify or a big cartel, there's a lot of apps now that you can connect to it. You can easily connect like a Ship Easy. Like I use shipeasy.com. You can connect that to Shopify. So when the order comes in on Shopify, it shows up automatically in Shipping Easy. And then you just go there, you print out the label, blah, blah, blah. You pay for it. And then everything gets printed and you're printed. And then your inventory is automatically updated back in Shopify. So it's all
giving away a lot of game right there, man. Giving away a lot of game right there, bro.
A lot, man.
You gotta say that for your own Patreon. Be cool, B.
God, that's it. That's the stuff that's why I wrote the book, though. That's why I wrote the book, to just help people. Like it's you know, like the book is called The Path to Success for urban entrepreneurs, though.
Yes,
you know what I mean. So you know, there's like a focus on that, and that's that's one of the reasons why I wanted to give back to our group specifically. Yeah, man.
And our people are good when it comes to hustling and get what they need to get done. You know, have you what kind of things did you ever thought about becoming like a mentor and starting a mentorship and stuff like that? Have you ever thought about doing that?
Nah, I mean, I wish I had time to do something like that. I mean, everybody that knows me knows that they can always hit me up and I'll always help with whatever at any time. Like, but you know, things that require me to like come out of my house and like go here and go there, it's hard for me because I'm already doing a lot of things and with the kids and the wife. One other thing that I realized very early on when I was doing Dirty Rascal, I was running myself ragged, and I started running my wife ragged. Like it was just too much. So I had to scale back. So that's why the clothing lines are currently like, eventually we're going to end up, like shutting down the clothing lines and focusing more on Hack and Restore and the photography. Those are going to be the priority companies for like what I'm trying to do with my business situation.
And you're going to need to do that because in this era, COVID is affecting us in different ways.
Big time.
This is strange to me. Like now when I shoot, I'm going to have to be like 6 foot away. So now I got to go get 100 mil, and I got to shoot with 100 mil and an 85. The 50 is going to be out of I'm not really going to use the 50 all that much. It's going to be the 35 at that point because I got to go wide. And it's going to be like, I'm going to have to figure out like different ways to do things. Like right now we're doing this podcast virtually. This is not what I do. I would be sitting in your living room right now having this conversation, right? This is the business that we're in now. And the circumstances are going to change. So you're just, from what you said, what I'm gathering right now is you're like really like, I'm going to shrink and move and pivot, be able to be more of a person that can move and pivot more mobily. Like I'm not going to be so stagnant now. Is that more what you're looking for at this point, what you're going for at this point, to be more like much more efficient, I should say, than you have been in the past?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, doing so many different things has helped me understand that, number one, it has to be something that you love, which, everything I've done has been something that I love. But if it's not something that also brings in good net profit, then you're doing it for no reason. And you're just going to end up, driving yourself into the ground. So, I'm like, let me look at all these different things that I'm doing and like just understand what I can do that takes the least time away from my family and, provides me with the best net profit situation. So, like it's crazy. You were mentioning, the whole coronavirus situation. Mm-hmm. So basically, photography has been heavily affected, the clothing heavily affected because, a lot of people don't have money like that. So they're not really making purchases. Plus, that's been on a downfall for a minute anyway. But Hack and Restore, my furniture finishing company, has been operating the same way. So, I mean, the main thing I do is I take like vintage solid wood cabinets and buffet tables and dressers and stuff like that, and I convert them into bathroom vanities, like one of a kind, like unique bathroom vanities. And a lot of homeowners, they like that, so even though coronavirus and that whole situation's been going on, that hasn't really slowed up. Like I still get the same amount of inquiries as I have been getting. I provide a situation where once it's done, 6 feet away, I drop it off, I put it in your trunk, you Venmo me, you Zelle me, and then you're on your way. So it's really hasn't taken that much of a toll. And the real estate investing is kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel for me anyway. That's where I always wanted to end up. So everything just kind of like, it's kind of coming together. When I first started, I'm like, all right, I'm doing the clothing, I'm doing the photography, I'm doing everything was so segregated. But now it's kind of like, I understand that the real estate investing is at the light at the end of the tunnel. So now photography will help me because I can go in and I can take those images myself. You know what I mean? Hack and Restore, I can stage these properties. I can put these unique vanities in these flip homes that I'm going to be doing. It's like all these things that I've been doing that I thought were so segregated, it's actually coming together in one piece, eventually. So, sometimes that's how you got to think about it.
Yeah, I think it's dope that you made that connection because I was already kind of like there with it, but I knew that that's like what you really, that's what you, at the end of the day, you want everything that you're doing to kind of connect. I do photography, I do by podcasting. That all connects for me because obviously I can shoot the people I interview. I can take that right there and I can parlay that into more business with them down the road. And that's all that matters to me. Because it's just like you got to find a way to make the dreams that you have learn how to work together in one cohesive way so you can move forward. I think that's dope that you're going to do that. I think that you and Jeff are putting together this furniture business at a time like this where people are home and they're going to want to change up their furniture because they're home all the time. It kind of like, and unfortunately, the property situation is going to happen. We're going to see a drop in property values. People are going to be flipping homes and want unique stuff to separate their flips from other people's flips, so on and so forth. Interior decorators are going to be busy because people are going to be fixing up houses.
Right.
I think it's good.
Right. Exactly.
Let's go. Good business, man. This is going to be good business for you, bro. She's going to be kind of fire. to tell you
I
the
hope
truth.
so, bro. I hope so, man. It's going well so far, man. Hopefully it continues, man. Like you said, we all just have to find the most efficient ways to do what we're doing, especially like if it's like a one-man band like yourself. You just have to pull these pieces together that make sense. So you're not going crazy, like it all just flows.
In the end of last year, I was definitely going crazy because I was working on another podcast. I had a studio, I was working out of, but the studio flooded. And then I couldn't go forward with none of the plans because studio flooded. So then that kind of like pushed because my original plan was like I was going to bring in a network of people that I had worked with. But then I realized it's kind of like I don't know what your faith is, but my faith is strong in God in that way. And I believe that God kind of pushed me in a way with saying, no, this is not going to work. Had I done that now and we're in this situation, we've kind of been screwed.
Right.
So I kind of understand.
God flooded that joint. God flooded that joint for you.
He kind of woke me up to like, you know what? You gotta protect yourself and do what you gotta do for you. You can hold your boys down, but you gotta take care of what's best for you. And
it's crazy how stuff like that happens.
Right.
Yeah.
It woke me up and I had to like really, really look at what's gonna work for me. So now it's just kind of like work on what I have in front of me, take care of my money situations that I can, and do the best that you can do. Because I mean, that's really what you're doing right now is connecting the dots and saying, look, I got to move more efficiently. I got to move like an Olympic athlete. I can't move like a kid who eats McDonald's every day.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's how you have to be. And I'm catching on to what you're saying because it makes a lot of sense to me, Yeah. And
that was the only other thing. It's like at the end of the day, it's like you think about your goals and think about where you want to get to, and then think about the work that you're doing or the business that you got, and really think about like that business. Is that thing really capable of getting me to that goal? You know what I mean? And it's like, if you can't think of any ways that it could possibly get you there, then you're doing something wrong. You got to go back and dial it back and figure out your plan. You've got to figure something else out that's going to get you there, or else that goal is unattainable.
How important it is for you as a young entrepreneur at this time in your life, self-reflection and self-awareness to you now, and your mental health. How important is that to you these days?
It's like, this is the thing that honestly keeps me going, because it's like, if you're not, like I said, like I failed many, many times. And just the fact that I can take those experiences as learning experiences and kind of use that to kind of better myself. It's not like I'm putting myself in a state of depression because I feel like I can fail. Like I'm able to kind of self-reflect and say, yeah, I remember when I did that, but then that helped me realize that I need to pivot and do it this way.
Okay.
So
I get it.
I quit and I'm not going to do this anymore. Like it's just different ways to look at the situation.
Makes sense. It makes sense because I mean, you're looking at two different situations, but you're pulling yourself back. Because before you, like you said, you probably would have gone super forward and just push. But now you're like, nah, fam, maybe it's just not the right time. Right. I think when you're young, you're ambitious and you're willing to take more risk. As you get older and you've healed from the wounds of your wrist, you start to learn that you're not gun shy, but you're just wiser. You move smarter. You take your time to do things. Plus, you have 3 kids, a wife, crib. You got real responsibilities that other people might not have. You know what I mean? So your risk factor changes. In this business, we do a lot for everything around us, but we also have people who help us the most and take good care of us. Is there anybody that you want to shout out? Because I haven't done this before in a show, but I want to start here. Is there any people that you want to shout out that you haven't been able to shout out in a minute? And you just say, yo, thank you, or anything like that?
Man, like we'd have to stay on for like another hour.
But I mean, like I would say, like who really helped you? Who is one of those people that are like an unsung kind of person in your life that kind of helped you, but you never really realized they really helped you? I'll leave it at that since this is like new. This is a new segment.
Well, I mean, I'll name a few people like throughout the different courses of my life. I'd have to first name my mom because the situation that we were in and how she supported us. But that actually drove me to start becoming like a hustler. Like because I used to sell everything, bro. Like I didn't want my mom to have to spend her last dollar on me, like on a pair of shoes or a pair of whatever. So I would sell bikes. I would sell
soda. I would sell everything, bro. Like anything. Like if I was able to raise enough money to buy myself a shirt or a pair of pants, I felt super accomplished, man, just for the fact that my mom could save that bread. So first it started, the whole just hustling thing for me started out with that. Mm-hmm. And then from there, you know, like once I got married and I started the whole Dirty Rascal thing, my wife, obviously I couldn't have done anything at all without her. I couldn't continue to do what I'm doing without her. And then actually when I first started photography, I would say my man, Ian, I don't know, you know, Ian Harmon from Englewood?
I probably know him by face. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like I know a lot of people by face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you probably if you saw him, you probably know him. But Ian, like the first time I got a studio in at the Art Factory in Patterson, Ian and my cousin Keenan, they were actually my studio. They were in the studio with me, so we shared the studio together. And Ian actually did a lot of the Dirty Rascal photography with me. Like he was the one rolling out with me because he was doing photography at the same time. So he was helping me with the models and the shots. He would get me a lot of, a lot of those shots that I couldn't get from straight on. He was getting a lot of those the BTS stuff and all that, giving me a lot of dope
super
ideas.
Important. Yeah, that's super important.
Like Jeff will tell you, man, most of the time I end up liking the BTS stuff more than the straight on.
I can see that happening.
I love that stuff.
I can see that happening, B.
I love it.
BTS footage is like, for photographers, BTS footage is just precious to us. Because we get to see ourselves doing something. We're always watching everybody else do something through the lens. To see ourselves through the lens doing something is different. And a lot of people don't understand that. Like for photographers, BTS footage is like gold to us. Like we really love that shit. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. You know? Just seeing the whole candid aspect of the whole thing.
Yes.
But yeah, man. Yes. Other than that, I mean, like Jeff, obviously, I mentioned Jeff already. I don't have to mention him again. But like these are like the main people. And then like, you know, people like Eric and everybody like that, they just supported me from just the ground floor. They didn't even know what the clothing line was, but you know, just because it was me, on the strength of that, they came in, supported. Eric has been one of the main supporters. Like you probably look in his closet, you'll see Dirty Rascal stuff that I never released.
Yo, when I did the podcast with Eric was definitely like, yo, y'all looked him out with the photos and everything else. I'm like, because he stayed with the crispy stuff, so it's always crispy photos, and I was like, it's like to see all you guys, like you guys are all like interconnected, you know what I mean? And that's really dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to see that right there, like you don't see that a lot in creatives. People get egos and they're very like, they're very sheltered people. They don't want people around them really. Right. You know?
Yeah.
But when you see creatives from different kind of like platforms still rocking together, despite like maybe this person's doing this and this person's doing that, they're still finding ways to rock with each other and keep their friendships is major blessing, bro. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right. And you never know who you're gonna meet either, because Eric actually put me and Jeff onto this dude named Percy. I don't know if you ever met Percy, but Jeff shoots him a lot. He's actually he does a lot of modeling, but he's also a fashion stylist. So I've seen him before. Yes. And you've seen his work a lot too, because he worked on Grand Ave with us. Like when we did the first lookbook shoot and video, like he basically directed the entire thing. Like he put the whole thing together. So he's just a brilliant mind when it comes to everything fashion. So Eric put the pieces together with that. And then, we've been rocking with Percy for a minute. And so I would definitely shout him out too.
Dope, man. See, that's dope, bro. Because some people don't, how can I say this? Some people are so afraid to put other people on because they don't want someone else to outshine them. But everybody shines when everybody works together. That's what people just don't get. Like, you just got to put your ego to the side. You got to put your ego to the side.
That's another thing. Like, everything you're saying right now, I put in my book, man, because it's like, that especially makes sense in the urban community, because it's like you on the one side, like when you start doing something good and you're kind of like shining a little more than the people that you roll with, how it is. Like you start feeling that fire. A lot of people start treating you a little differently, and it's like, yo, well, like what am I doing? Like that's making you treat me like that.
Yo, when I saw Dubs and Pinnacle and Billy, all them blowing up and stuff like that, I saw how people start acting way different.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, why? It's because from an urban community, we're not used to success. So when we see one person like succeeding like more than the rest of us or anything like that, it starts to become a spiteful thing. But, the good thing is that a lot of people aren't like that, and then it's just up to us to find those people that are cool and they appreciate and they push for our successes, and we can do the same for them. So I think we just need to, it's all about the network.
Yeah.
You got to know like how to create your network.
And I think, once you create your network, you build your network, how to foster the next level of your network. How do you scale that network up? Like everyone's scaling up. So I throw you that line, pull you over that wall, and then you do the same thing for me the next time. I think that's really important. I think your book probably speaks to all of this right now. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to read it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to ask is, where can everybody find your stuff? Give them this information before we get up out of here and everything, man.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of different places, man. So the path to success, the book is The Path to Success for Urban Entrepreneurs. You could find it either on you can find it on Amazon and Kindle, the ebook store. You can also find it on my clothing line website, Grand Ave. So that's www.grandav.shop. So you could find it there as well. And then, I have a dirtyrascal.com, the clothing line, still going strong. And then I just gave out the website for Grand Ave. So it doesn't just only have the book, it also has the clothing from the Grand Ave brand. And then everything that I'm doing with Hack and Restore is basically on Facebook. And
you still there, bro? Hold on.
It's just Hack and Restore. Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, run that back one more time. Everything you just said.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll start off with the book. So, Path to Success. You can hear me good now?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so The Path to Success for Urban Entrepreneurs, you can get on Amazon and the e-Kindle bookstore.
Okay.
So either one of those options. You can also get it on the Grand Ave website, my clothing website. So grandav.shop. So you can get it on there, as well as the clothing that goes along with the brand. You can, my other brand, Dirty Rascal, you can go on dirtyrascal.com to check out my first streetwear brand that I launched in 2011.
Still can't believe that. Don't make me feel so old, bro. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah. Crazy, man. I'm making myself feel old.
That shit wild to me, bro, when you said that.
But yeah, man.
Yo, go ahead, man.
That's like 9 years ago.
I know. We were just in the bowling alley with Ron and everybody else chilling, and all of a sudden you're like, damn, my God. Go ahead, bro. Continue, man.
Absolutely, bro. But yeah, so Hack and Restore is the furniture refinishing company. And I have a website for that I haven't spun up yet, because most of the stuff that we do is, it's all based on like vintage or used solid wood goods. So it's always I'm always getting it from somewhere. I'm getting it from somebody. I'm going on Facebook Marketplace to find like what I'm going to be working on. So it's not anything where it's like a consistent product that I can replicate or continue to churn out. So it's like, what are you really going to put on the website? I can put like an about us or like information about what we are, which I'm working on, but actual product, it always changes. So basically it's Instagram and Facebook, and the Instagram is Hack and Restore Goods. Nice. So you can find that on there. And obviously our wedding photography is MM Studios. So it's MM Studios NJ, like NJ, like New Jersey, on Instagram. And that's also the website, mmstudiosnj.com. That's about it, man.
You're going to need a portal now, B. You're going to need a homepage with a bunch of little links. You got to knock all this out and say, oh, this is one thing. And now here's all these links. Because that was
definitely a lot of talking, man. Like nobody's ever asked me like every single one before. I'm like, damn, I need to put all this in one place, on one page or somewhere.
Exactly, bro.
It's a lot, bro.
This is dope though, because that means you have been busy, bro, and the seeds of your success have been planted and things are rolling. That's what's important. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I want to say, man, thank you very much for coming on my show, man. Thank you for being the initial video guest. Thank you, bro.
I appreciate you making me the guinea pig, man. I appreciate you thinking that my story is important enough,
bro. When you
to even put out there.
As soon as you released that book, and I was like, oh, and then Jeff was like, yeah, man, Jamal ready, bro. I'm like, okay, cool. But I was like, I knew at that point, yeah, you were really ready to tell your story. And when a person is ready to tell their story, that means they're potentially preparing to ascend. And they've reached a point where now they see everything. They see things clearly. A lot of times when I interview some people, they're still in the fuzzy mode.
Yeah, and that's fine.
That's fine. I mean, I'm going to get a good story out of it because you're still in that fuzzy place. But when you get to a person who's like, all right, I'm a man now. I've taken care of my responsibilities as a man. This is what I'm going to do. And there's nothing, I'm not entertaining anything else. That's when you know, like, you're going to get a real reflective and understanding kind of story. So I appreciate you telling me that, man. And I appreciate
that's why I think the podcast is so dope, though, because you're getting all these different stories from all these different people that are in different points of their lives with their business situation. So I think that's super dope that you're collecting and collecting all that information, man. It's a great thing.
So listen, man, if I can get this black and white book done, I pray by the end of I was hoping this year I was going to be able to get it done. I was going to do a whole black and white book about black entrepreneurs. So that's my next goal.
Dope.
But that'll be down the road. I know someone's going to take my idea. I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. It don't matter because it's not my photography. It's their photography. It doesn't matter. Like I always realize now, like people can be fans of multiple people. You're not stealing anybody's idea creatively.
There's competitors. There's competitors in every sport, every industry, every business. So it doesn't matter. It's not somebody taking yours or taking theirs. It's just, yours is going to be different. You're going to have a different spin on whatever it is that you do.
Right. Your creative eye is your creative eye. It's just always going to be different. But Jamal, my brother, I will have this up. Thank you very much, brother. All right. Thank you.
I appreciate you, bro.
All right, B. Peace. All right, man. What'd you think?
Nah, it's dope, bro. I didn't know he was going to record. I thought we were ending. Nah, but that was dope, though, man. I appreciate the opportunity for sure, bro. Like the fact that you thought my story was important enough for that is real important to me, man.
Yeah,
because like I don't really do the whole this whole thing. Like I don't really talk about myself a lot. Yeah. I don't like to do that.
But see, the funny part about it is a lot of these people out here who like all about the clout, you could put your nuts on the table on these motherfuckers and they can't say shit to you. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I know that. I be like, it's the quiet people who really do this, right? The loud ones don't do shit.
But right. It's about what's important to you. Like my execution is important to me. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, even when I'm like talking sports, and it's cool to trash talk with sports, but like with me, I've always been like, I'm not going to say any trash until my team wins. Until I see the final score, that's when I'm going to talk trash. Like, I'm not going to talk trash in the second quarter. What if I lose? Like, everything I said was trash. That's just the type of person I am. I have to wait until the time is right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, I haven't had the times right because I'm a Knicks fan, so my whole life has been, like, screwed up when it comes to sports. Yeah. I mean, if the Giants don't win, it's what it is, I mean, and the Yankees win. So I'm all right. I can live. But I mean, I'm a Cowboy fan, bro. So I feel your pain with the Knicks too. Oh, yeah. Like I haven't had a victory in ever since I was like 5 or 6 years old. I know.
So
that is painful. And you've had the spotlight on your team every single year. Like
I blame it on my uncles, bro. The only reason I like the Cowboys is because my uncles used to watch it all the time when they were winning back in the 90s. I got hooked on it from that point, and I've been a Cowboy fan ever since.
Wow, so they cursed you. It's like me.
They cursed me for sure, man. Unless they turn things around, which I doubt, but we'll see. New coach. We'll see what happens.
So Jerry leaves, brother. Until Jerry leaves, man, you might be white-haired.
White hair like
Jerry. Might be graduating college. You're going to be up there tears.
Yo, it's over. Even when Jerry's gone, is his son or whatever's going to pick it up from there, so... Who knows, man?
I feel it.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you once again, brother.
No problem, man. Listen, man, I'll have this up. It's going to go up next Wednesday. I just need a couple things from you. I just need you to send me a good headshot. All right. And to send me a good shot of the book. Because I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put the joint up and then I'm going to have the book on the back end once you scroll. So it'll be right there. And this will probably be up on video. I'm going to send you a copy of the video before I put it up. Let me know if you're good with it. If you're good with it, I'll put it up. If not, it's cool. We still got the audio, so I can put that on.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, either way, I'm good with it, brother. Whatever you think is good, but you can send it over to me.
Yeah, man. I always like to get the approval of the person before I throw it out there because sometimes people, can you edit that out? I didn't really want to say that. I'd be like, fam, you do know you don't have a PR agent. Nobody's going to shoot you for this.
Right. Exactly. You're not on TV, bro. Like
people are afraid because people were digging up those old tweets back in the day, and people are scared that one day someone's going to come back to look at this interview and it's going to pop back up. But I said,
once they're celebrity status.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I'm just like, yo, V, Don't. All right, man. Whatever, man. You said what you said. You got to own it, man. That's all I can tell you. Own what you said.
I am.
But
I am who I am, bro. Like whatever I say is whatever I say.
And you are. What did
Yep.
JC say? You are who you are before you got here.
Right.
No getting around
exactly. Right.
I take that with every grain of salt. All right, brother.
Yep.
You take care, B.
All right, bro. You too. Appreciate it, man.